great Joe Cocker live version of With a Little Help from my friends. As one of our chat room people said, one of the few times a Beatles cover lives up to the original. Gotta agree there. We lost a great one today. Joe Cocker, rest in peace. And you can't talk about Joe Cocker without at least a little passing nod to someone who preceded him in death by 31 years. Boy, if you'd have bet which one of these two guys would have lived longer, I wouldn't have taken the bet.
Seems I've got to have a change of scene, 'cause every night I have to stay in this street. Even now, I wanna ride. When I'm thinking you, I stop myself and cry. 'Cause just can't waste my time. Put you back. Don't stop believing all your lies. I can't get straight. Guess I'm here to stay. Tell something.
Yeah, that's just one of the great ones. John Belushi on stage with Joe Cocker. Oh my God. I remember watching that as a kid, and I didn't really get it because as a kid, I didn't get the whole Joe Cocker thing. Like, what the hell is going on with that guy? Nobody felt the music more than Joe Cocker. So gonna miss him. That's for sure. Got a question from the chat room. One of our new listeners, Green Grove, is asking, will you be doing live shows from the upcoming conferences in San Francisco? Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, I will. In fact, this new software that I've installed has this really cool feature. And let's see if I can start this. This is what we'll be using from now on at the events. And let me see if I can find that thing. Where did I put them? There's a new little app we got that allows us to connect right to the Minicam system, this new video system, with my Android phone. So let's see if we can get that mobile camera. See if we can connect. And this is how you'll be seeing us at the remote events from now on. If this thing will connect. Come on, connect, baby. There she is. All right, so now you've got our mobile cam. Oh, I got to switch it for you. See, new software, folks. I don't know where the hell I am. There I am. Well, there I am. So you got this new mobile cam software that I could then take out with me. And of course, the frame rate's not going to be as good because it's mobile, right? But there you go. Looking pretty good if you ask me. Let's switch over back to main cam here. So yeah, my hope is that we can get, and this is, I think I was just using this with just the 4G bandwidth, not using any of the Wi-Fi. Let's see. We'll take the Wi-Fi off and see how well we connect with just our 4G connection. Like I say, you guys get to work with me here while I do all this beta testing because it's the holidays, and this is about the only chance I get a chance to test these things. Please check your internet connection. Oh, nope. Do have to have Wi-Fi. So that's something apparently that will be required as we do this from now on. But anyway, we now have the mobile cam. Let's go to Bacon Dan, who's calling in, getting ready for the Roots Monday Daily Toker Tunes, but we got him on the line early. Dan, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Russ.
Are you at work right now?
Yeah, I'm just on my lunch break.
Oh, right on. All right, well, let me keep you on the line, and we will get you on as soon as we do our break, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, Bacon Dan coming at us right after the break here for the last Roots Monday of 2014. There we go, back to the mobile cam. So if you ever wanted to look around Rolla J Studios, this is what we look like. So yeah, we've got this new software that we're trying out, and it's my hope that this can solve a lot of these problems that we've had trying to bring you the live shows from these different remote events. At the bare minimum, I'm going to try to get it to the point where we can at least stream audio. So that's our hope then as we go out. Our first event will be February 5th and 6th. Unless somebody books us for something in January before that. But February 5th and 6th, the High Times Cannabis Cup in San Bernardino. Check it out.
You know, there are times where I've fallen off the wagon.
Hey folks, it's 4:20 here in the Pacific time zone. Time for us to take a break. Do some more debugging of all of this newfangled gear I got. Bacon Dan's on the line waiting for us for Roots Monday, so stay tuned for that. Some more great Christmas music for you. Happy holidays.
.420 Radio, the world's voice of marijuana legalization.
What's to keep somebody from getting all potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel?
The Russ Belville Show reminds you to never smoke and drive impaired. Hang out for a while. Share.
Hey Tokers and Tokettes, Radical Russ here for the Canador, a practical solution to keep herbs from drying. The Canador is the perfect airtight storage system for your fine herbs, from the half-inch thick walnut and cherry wood construction, clear top perforated jars for storage, and the humidity bead system that keeps your herbs at a perfect 65% relative humidity. I keep all my herbs in the Canador and you should too. Check out Canador.com for more information.
Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Roots Monday, featuring the blues, country, folk, and jazz music that birthed the modern sounds we enjoy today. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tunes.
Welcome back, everyone. 22 and a half after the hour with our last Roots Monday of 2014. And I got to turn it over now to one of my favorite people of 2014. It's Bacon Dan, who's on the line with us, taking a break from the Apple Store. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great, and happy holidays to all those tokers and tokettes listening to us around the world.
Yay. Hey, how long have you been here in Portland now?
So it'll be 2 years on January 9th.
That's what I was thinking. This is like your second year, so year two even better than year one, I suppose.
Oh, very much so. I mean, it's been an absolute blast so far, and just keeps getting better day by day. So I can't complain.
Yeah, and we're just looking forward to 2015 as everybody wrangles out the regulations for recreational marijuana here in Portland. Is that something you're interested in? Maybe getting in the pot shop business or anything like that?
Yeah, it's actually something I'm looking into. There's a few opportunities out there, and definitely looking to grow the brand. And I think, with legalization coming through next year, we might be seeing the return of me on the radio with my own show again. So.
Oh, fantastic. I'd love to have that, be able to replay that here on 420 Radio.
Absolutely. And I just want to give a quick shout out to anybody in the Portland area. Tomorrow is our annual Tatas for Toys show at Dante's. We all the money raised, we'll have 13 of the best strippers from Portland, as well as gifts from all of our sponsors, including cases of beer, liquor, floor tickets. You can sit next to the free throw guy at a Blazer game.
Oh.
And all the money raised goes to Dornbecker's Children's Hospital. We actually go out after the show and buy gifts for all the kids so they wake up on Christmas Eve with all these toys.
That's so awesome. And that's tonight, you say?
Tomorrow night. And last year we raised $2,000. This year we're going for $3,000.
Fantastic. Tuesday night at Dante's, like 3rd and Burnside on the west side of the bridge.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. It's a great place. Lots of good. And you can get yourself a really nice slice of pizza there.
Absolutely. The pizza shop owned by Nixon, a.k.a. Mini Marilyn Manson. Very big fan of the herb, I must say.
That's right. We have to get him on the show one of these days. That'd be fun.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, well, let's get to our Christmas music for the day. You're taking me back to my Army band days when I used to play swing music with the guys who actually wrote the stuff. Tell us about today's tune.
Oh, that's pretty far out, actually. So we're going old school, as you said, with the Glenn Miller Orchestra. Growing up as a band geek myself, when it was Christmas time, you're playing some Glenn Miller. It's always a good time. So we're going with the Yuletide Medley number 2 off of In the Christmas Air album. Came out in, I believe it was the early 90s, was the first digital copy of it on CD. And it's just great. It's a great collection of stuff. It's, a little nostalgia. Of course, here in the Northwest, we don't get the most snowy Christmases, but it is still Christmas. So I figured to bring a little bit of my Christmas past from the East Coast out to the Pac Northwest.
All right. Well, here it is. Glenn Miller with Yuletide Medley number 2.
You can get 420 Radio on the go with our Shoutcast stream for all internet-enabled media players. Go to rad-r.us/420shout or just click the Shoutcast icon below the live radio feed at 420radio.org. Growing plants indoors can be a rewarding hobby, but electricity bills can go through the roof. Then you have to cool down all those big hot lights. It can drive a grower insane. With Lush LED lighting, you can solve many of these issues and double your rewards. Matt and his scientists have developed the perfect light for flowering plants with far less cost and heat. And the results? Very effective. Check out LushLEDlighting.com right now and tell them Radical Russ sent you. Weed Nerd, replaying Tuesdays at 1 Pacific on 420radio.org. The law offices of Omar Figueroa would like to remind you to stand up for your rights. If you're detained or arrested, treat law enforcement with respect and stand up for your rights by repeating, "I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search and seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to speak with my attorney." Please contact the law offices of Omar Figueroa at 415-489-0420 or 707-829-0215 or on the web at omarfigueroa.com.
So you've lost all your faith, swimming through the chains of love, and I won't feel the same. Well, distance relates to us all, and hey, I feel a little bit wild and shallow, and hey, I feel the distance wanna make us swallow.
Welcome back, everybody. That is music from Carrie Lee. The song is called Chains. From an album he recorded that was put together while he was in prison for a marijuana charge. We got to speak to Carrie Lee live here on the show in 2014. Just another one of the events that was really memorable from this year. Of course, we lost a lot of friends in 2014 as well. And you can visit our 420 Radio page if you want to pay your respects to them. We have a VIP memorial. You can find it at 420radio.org. And let me see if I can find the exact URL for us. But we do think of our listeners here as a family. I mean, a lot of people come here every day, either through the podcast or through the live stream, to listen about the latest news and hope that their area can eventually become legal. And there's many great people who've been listening to the show and have been supporters and listeners for a long time. And we miss those that have passed away. And the most recent one of our warriors to pass away was Toz420, TOZ420. He was a grower who was also a frequent listener to the show, a big supporter. We, let's see, I'm trying to find this one shot here, if I could find it. We also lost, of course, Grey Wolf, our good friend and moderator from Denver, Colorado. And that was sad he had just left Colorado and made his way to Oregon. He's going to start over in the Oregon legalization world. And passed away, was unable to get his heart medications and passed away of a heart attack here in Washington, actually. And we also, miss people like Stereotype. Rio was his name here in the chat room. Stereotype was our resident curmudgeon. He was a great guy and came to many of the different events that we put on with 420 Radio. And the Russ Belville show. I got to meet him at a number of these events, including the time he came out for the Cannabis Cafe while it still existed. Cannabis Cafe is closed for now. They're still looking for another location, but they're closed for now in that the bill that passed that legalized dispensaries made it illegal to have on-site consumption. So they could do one or the other and couldn't do both. So I'll give you this... Oh, I see. It's 420radio.org/VIP/RIP. And that'll get you to the memorial. But Big Jim Dement also lost him on March 5th. He was a big friend of not only the Russ Belville Show, but mostly the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. He was a good friend of Herb Thrasher's from Alabama. Of course, a huge Crimson Tide fan and loved NASCAR. Loved his Earnhardts, Dale Jr., Dale Sr. We've got a picture of his headstone. Herb Thrasher just took this picture over the Christmas break, and we've added his headstone picture to our VIP memorial, and it's got the marijuana leaf on the headstone. I mean, I think that's just great. I'm going to have a marijuana leaf on my headstone. Thanks for the idea. So Stereotype, Big Jim, Grey Wolf, Taz 420. We lost Steve Veteran as well, but I forget if that was this year or the year prior. These years start to kind of blend together after a while. Trying to remember who's where, but I think, yeah, Steve Veteran, we lost him in 2013. But that just gives you some idea how much his memory stuck around with us, is that we're still remembering him now. And we thank each and every one of you that, joins us occasionally or every day if you can. We're working to make this the best marijuana-related podcast and network anywhere. We've upgraded the video feed to 720p, so we've got some high-def video feed going out to you now. And these clips that I save will also be saved in high def, and you'll be able to find them on my YouTube page at Radical Russ on YouTube. We've also got more shows that we'll be adding to the lineup. Finding all sorts of great stuff on the internet now. More and more people willing to speak out about marijuana prohibition. And so we're really excited to help bring that news to everyone. And speaking of the news, we've got some breaking news here at the 420 Radio News Desk, brought to us by one of our chat room participants, who lets us know that pot possession has been decriminalized in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Decrim pot in the U.S. Virgin Islands, people. Sounds like a really good place to go visit, doesn't it? This is Paul Armentano, NORML's deputy director, writing at the NORML blog that legislation decriminalizing the possession of 1 ounce or less of cannabis in the United States Virgin Islands became law this weekend. On Friday, Senate lawmakers voted to override Governor John P. DeJong's line-item veto of the decriminalization provision, which had been included in the territory's 2015 fiscal year budget. The depenalization measure eliminates jail time for minor marijuana offenses. Under the new law, cannabis possession for those age 18 and older is classified as a civil offense, punishable by a fine between $100 and $200. Those under the age of 18 will also be required to complete a drug awareness program. Under the previous law, minor marijuana possession offenses were punishable by up to a year in jail and a $5,000 fine. According to the bill's sponsor, Senator Terrence Nelson, the enactment of the new law will, quote, go a long way in easing cost on the judicial system and judicial process, end quote. And in the best news of this news, it was a unanimous vote to override the veto. 14-0 Senate vote in the United States Virgin Islands to override the president's veto. So this year, we've got the United States Virgin Islands taking up decriminalization, and we've got Guam passing medical marijuana. So the United States territories now have recognized that marijuana prohibition is untenable. And as we rush into 2015 and all the momentum begins for the 2016 presidential campaign, the issue of marijuana is going to be huge in these upcoming elections, in these primaries. These candidates are going to get asked about it starting at the Iowa caucuses, the New Hampshire, whatever it's called, the primaries, I guess, South Carolina, as that whole primary system heats up and that season begins. Starting way early, it'll start in 2015, we are going to see more and more discussion of the marijuana issue. And that goes along with this lawsuit that we're seeing by the state of Nebraska, joined on by Oklahoma. Kansas is thinking about joining onto it, to sue the state of Colorado for legalizing marijuana and saying the supremacy clause should rule and that the federal government should shut this down. And the lawsuit, as Keith Stropp writes on marijuana.com, the lawsuit itself may be just there to provide a sort of legal cover for the next administration that might want to crack down. You know, everything we've been doing with legal marijuana so far in Colorado and Washington has been based on the Cole memo. And that's just a guideline. That's just, hey, we ought to not bust people. We ought to let this play out. The next president may not feel that way. And God help us if the next presidential election is between Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton. Good Lord, could we have some different names in the mix? Another Bush Clinton. Oh, great. But even, you know, a Jeb Bush, a Ted Cruz, a Marco Rubio, any of them could get into office and declare that marijuana should be prosecuted and federal law should be paramount and all of these marijuana industries should be shut down and their owners brought forth on federal charges. And they've got all sorts of documentation. It wouldn't be a tough case. So everything is just hinged right now on how much this current administration doesn't want to go after this industry. So in 2015, we need this industry to grow and grow and grow. We need this to become too big to shut down. Now, the Supreme Court, if they were to come across, and first of all, it's a kind of a legal Hail Mary here. So whether the Supreme Court even takes the case up is up to question. But given the conservative bent of this Supreme Court, I wouldn't be surprised for them to take it up. Now, if they were to invalidate Colorado and Washington state's laws regarding the regulation of commercial marijuana, that would not in any way change legal possession and legal cultivation. At least in Colorado, of course, there's no legal cultivation in Washington state. So what would happen is they would shut down the businesses, but the personal right to cultivate in Colorado and the personal right to possess in both states would still exist. And there's nothing the federal government can do to force a state to criminalize those things. So you want to talk about a boon to the black market. That's exactly what we would have. You would have 2 states, and of course, Oregon and Alaska would follow along. You'd have 4 states where it's perfectly legal to possess marijuana. 3 of those states where it's perfectly legal to grow marijuana, but nobody can buy, sell, or trade it with one another. Yeah, talk about a black market wet dream. This is going to be huge for the Mexican cartels, huge for the street corner dealers, huge for the kids dealing in the high schools. Because you'll have all the consumers you could possibly want. Consumers who face no risk whatsoever in buying marijuana. You know it's not illegal to buy marijuana, right? It's illegal to possess it in some places. It's illegal to sell it federally. But it's not illegal to buy it or possess it. Now, it'd be illegal to possess it federally. You could still use the federal possession. But state police and local police are not in the business of enforcing federal laws. They cannot. So the state cop in Colorado couldn't say, well, this is illegal federally. Now, if he wanted to, he could turn that over to the local DEA office if they wanted to prosecute someone for having a baggie in their pocket. But the DEA doesn't have the time, and the federal courts definitely don't want to see a flood of marijuana cases coming to them. It'll be interesting to see if that factors in to any of the debates in the Supreme Court. Just the sheer practicality of what would happen. This cat's out of the bag. The toothpaste is out of the tube. There's no going back. There's no unringing the bell. Legalization is here. All Nebraska is doing is putting a scare into a few people about it.
Elitist. Just like any other dishwashing, burger flipping, public school educated, self-employed, bar band, musician, National Guardsman, he's Radical Russ.
All right, we're going to take ourselves a break. And don't forget, coming up at the top of the hour, we've got the new Viper Hour, playing our archives of the best of early 20th century blues, jazz, and... Sorry, I'm having a tough Tough day today. Blues, jazz, and swing music. I was up late last night working all this tech stuff. I haven't had enough sleep, so please forgive me. You can hear it in my voice too, can't you? Anyway, new Viper Hour coming up at the top of the hour with Stomps, Rags, and Balls. Figure it out. We'll be right back.
You can get 420 Radio on the go with the TuneIn Radio app for all mobile platforms. Go to rad-r.us/420tunein or just click the TuneIn Radio icon below the live radio feed on 420radio.org. At Herbie's Cannabis Seeds, we pride ourselves on bringing you the best quality seeds from the world's most respected cannabis seed producers, all at the lowest online prices. You can find Herbie's Seeds at herbiesheadshop.com. All cannabis seeds are sold as souvenirs and as a means of preserving cannabis genetics. Herbie's Seeds in no way intends to condone, promote, or incite the use of illegal or controlled substances. We strongly urge all prospective customers to check their national laws prior to placing an order. Herbie's Seeds at herbiesheadshop.com. Proud sponsors of the Russ Belville Show. At Royal Queen Seeds, we've got premium feminized cannabis seeds, including auto-flowering varieties for the medical cannabis user. We've got bulk shipments available and new CBD oil. Plus, we accept payment in Visa, MasterCard, and Bitcoin, as well as other methods. Check out our website at royalqueenseeds.com for more information. We are located in the Netherlands, and we have online grow experts ready to help you now at royalqueenseeds.com.
Come down from the clouds, put my feet on the ground, step out of this dream. Home seems so far away from where I am today, and I don't care what people say, I'm just living day to day.
That's music from Reed Fail, Stoned Beautiful. Got to meet him up in Aspen, Colorado at one of the normal events there. Singer-songwriter. F-O-E-H-L is how you spell his last name. Reed Fail, F-O-E-H-L. So welcome back. Just running a slideshow there of our adventures this summer, this year, 2014. I can't believe we are now less than 10 days away from the end of this year. So much stuff that went down. And one of the things that I am incredibly grateful for, and I don't talk much about this, but it was a really tumultuous 18 months for me, from about March of 2013 to July of 2014. So that's not 18 months, that's 15, isn't it? But anyway, tumultuous 15 months. As you know, my wife and I separated last year, 2013, and we've reconciled this July. Actually, it was Independence Day that we reconciled, and it was a really tough time for me. And during that time, back in 2013, Herb Thrasher was gracious enough to let me crash to his place and set up a studio there, and we did some shows from there last summer. And then Left Wing Larry stepped up and moved himself out from Florida, came all the way across the country, and moved out here in August of 2013. And that's where we are now, at this place here that Left Wing Larry and I rented. That's where Iva and I are living now, my wife. And but Larry, stepped up and moved out here. He's just a long-term fan of the show, and he moved out here, and we split the bills and was able to keep surviving and just scratching and clawing to try to keep doing this. And I couldn't have done it. You know, that Joe Cocker song, I Get By With a Little Help from My Friends. I tell you, that's what this whole network is built on. It's what this whole show and my career is built on, is a lot of help from a lot of friends. And I just want to make sure that I ended this year talking about them a little bit and making sure they knew how much they were appreciated. And you too, listeners, because I'll tell you, there was some really dark times for me being newly single at age 46, you know, terrified of the world out there. Back when I used to date, there was no such thing as Tinder. You know, there's a weird world out there, and OkCupid and all that. But my wife and I worked things out. Everything is good in that respect. In fact, we're both better off for the experience, I think. But I'll tell you, those days when I was there was nothing. I just living by myself, no dog, no cat, no wife. And the only thing I had to look forward to each day was getting up and putting this show together and having someone to talk to, and that would be you. So, you know, you don't know how much, maybe you don't have any idea how much I appreciate the listeners out there for giving me purpose. Otherwise, I'm just some guy, you know, blogging in the basement. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think today blogging is the modern day version of the, you know, standing on the soapbox, you know, executing your free speech rights. So I got no problem with that. And I always I'm just addicted to this topic. I'm addicted to the marijuana topic. I'm addicted to the politics of it. I'm addicted to the science of it, the agricultural aspects of it, the history, the culture. I'm just fascinated by this topic. So to be able to make a meager living, you know, claw and scratch out a meager living by doing this every day, by being able to talk to you every day and spread some of this truth and to give people hope, right? I mean, I think that's one thing I bring to this, some perspective that maybe is lost amongst the people who are in Colorado and California and Washington and Oregon, where, you know, life is good, land of milk and honey, land of buds and honey oil, right? But I come from Idaho. I come from a place where there's two strains, got some and don't, right? That's it. Yeah, thank you. And I know what it's like to be living there and looking at other states and thinking, yeah, that's great that they're decrimming or they're legalizing, but there's no way anything like that's going to happen out here. There's no way. It's just impossible. I'm here to tell you it's not impossible. It's just a matter of time at this point. The dominoes are toppling. It only took legalizing in one state for this to begin an inevitable momentum. Your state will be legal. It's coming. It'll be decrim first. It'll be medical first, maybe. But it's coming. The whole opposition to legalization of marijuana has always been built on fear and lies. And the fear has been dismissed. And the lies have been exposed. And now there's not much argument anymore. The only argument they've got anymore is trying to say there's going to be a big marijuana. It's going to be a big industry. And I don't think people are afraid of that either. I think people are by and large wanting more industry in this country, wanting more jobs, and definitely wanting to take away what is clearly a fairly benign adult product and putting it in a legal regulated marketplace. I think people understand that, you know, there's some adult vices. There's gambling, there's drinking, there's smoking, there's toking. And there's strip clubs. Let's add that to the list too. You know, nudity, pornography. There are these adult things. And you can argue whether they're sins or whether they're good or bad, but you can't argue that trying to prohibit them makes any harm from them worse. And I think we're going to see this. I think we're going to see America wake up to this with respect to prostitution eventually as well. Might be a little tougher. You know, the anti-sex attitudes in America go a lot deeper than the anti-drug attitudes. I mean, anti-drug attitudes go back to the 1900s, you know, 1914 Harrison Narcotics Act and the temperance movements of the 1850s and beyond That's our first real anti-drug movement in America. It was about 1850, Carrie Nation and the Axe, and the beginning of the Prohibition movement then. But our anti-sex attitudes in America, that starts in the 1600s. That goes back to Puritan days. So I think we'll see these so-called vices, prostitution, marijuana, most drugs, legalized. I think we'll begin to see that, and even with respect to most drugs, I could see some states moving to decriminalize mushrooms. I don't see how possession of something that grows out of the ground can possibly be criminal. Right? For it to be criminal, you have to, have some intent from the creator that left it there, right? Doesn't there have to be some ill intent there in the creation itself? A mushroom sitting in a heap of cow shit doesn't hurt anything. It's not a crime by its existence. It only becomes a crime when a human being picks it off the cow shit. Now it's possession of a controlled substance. Well, how can that be? If that substance, that controlled substance, that mushroom sitting in the cow shit is so awful, why isn't there a law against it just being, and why isn't there people out there eradicating mushrooms out of cow shit? Well, other than the fact it's impractical. No, as far as I'm concerned, if it comes out of the ground, if it is natural, or even in the case of like those toads, right? You got them bufo toads that you can lick their skin and trip off of that. If it comes out of the ground, if it is natural, it should not be a crime to possess it. Now, I'm all for regulating it. I'm all for maybe there ought to be, age limits, maybe fines for possession of too much of it or possession of it in public or crimes for trying to sell it maybe. But mere possession of an entheogenic substance should not be a crime in private for an adult. Everywhere else I could make some arguments, but in private for an adult, we have the right to pick, eat, smoke, chew, ingest, process anything that the Creator put on this planet. Whatever you think creation to be, divine or evolutionary, it belongs to us. All right, folks, that's all the time we got for today. Thanks for joining us for our beta edition of our new high-def video feed, 720p. Let me know if you're having any problems with it. Still got a few kinks to work out. Tomorrow is our last show of 2014. It's our Festivus for the Rest of Us special. I'll be participating in the airing of grievances and the feats of strength. Gotta go find the Festivus poll. For everyone here at 420 Radio, thanks for joining us. I'm Radical Russ. Stay tuned for the new Viper Hour coming up next. And until next time, take care of each other, Tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow